You got me still?
Yeah.
All right. Should we do the intro again or keep the same intro from the last one?
Do it, man. Do it from the top.
Do it live. All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Twins Toro Show, episode number 3. We are identical twin brothers reconnecting and talking about our unidentical lives. My name is Juan, and that is Jorge, who we're about to see in a couple days in real life, flying up with Carly and Patrick for our oldest nephew's wedding / little birthday celebration for one of our nieces. You excited?
I can't wait, man. I was just there for Thanksgiving, but I was by myself. Happy to have the whole crew heading over there. It's ridiculous to think about Pito getting married and why we're all going there, but it's going to be great. And also celebrating Marisa's birthday. Happy birthday, Marisa. So yeah, man, we can't wait. It's just a couple days away now.
How old are we? Lydia just asked me this morning. I was like, I don't know, 30 something, less than 40, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, somewhere in the late 30s. Last night I was watching, Miami basketball team, the Red Hawks, one of the last 2 teams as of last night that are undefeated. They were playing a game, and I was getting really frustrated with some of the plays they were not making. And Carly was like, what are you talking about? And I was thinking about how I hurt my knee earlier just walking up the steps, and thinking, yeah, I should probably just watch. I should probably just shut up and watch. So I think we're about that age where it just kind of stops. You want to stop keeping count, kind of.
Yeah, it stopped a while ago, but you did text me during, what was it, last week when Miami was playing Kent State? It seemed like they gave up a last second layup or something to tie it and then lost in overtime. So congrats to the Red Hawks.
Was kind of thinking that, it'd be fun to to talk about that we'll be together this weekend. Our families will be together, and maybe, I don't know if we're going to try to do something. Maybe we'll record little clips here and there, try to do something fun, but no, nothing specifically. Well, except for, I was thinking about the Beast. You sent me the picture of the car from the yearbook, and I was just laughing and remembering so many things about that car, and was thinking about our last episode I feel like we really, I know it wasn't the topic of the conversation, but we talked about the security system that it had in it. And I don't feel like we fully explained what that meant. And I think it was one of my favorite parts of the car.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about it a little more?
Well, sure. I mean, what I loved about it was that we took from something that could be an embarrassing thing. I mean, it did not have a latch on the driver's side door. We took it into like a cool thing. I felt cool about it because we always talked about it in a positive manner. Like you had to reach under. There was, I don't know, plastic or metal. The latch was broken. Like you could not. There was nothing to grab and just lift up and open the door, the driver's side door. So there was part of the hinge was still intact with a sharp piece at the end of it. I mean, you had to reach under there and almost with a couple fingers make sure that it didn't smash, but then lift up the sharp piece, and that would allow you to pop up the unlatch the door and open it. But to your point with the scar that you said you have, and man, I think that might be a cool thing to get into all the scars on your hand and my hands. But that was a cool part of the car. It had a lot of character, a lot of personality. We didn't, it had 30 years before us of life before we started driving it. Plenty of road stories, but we had quite an experience with that car. And you took it to college, right? It was with you at Miami.
Let me tell you. So I was curious what you remember from the door handle. So
okay,
let me take that further, because that's where it started, right? And so yeah, it was a full metal. They don't make metal. They don't make them like this anymore. Like it was fully metal, heavy duty metal. And yeah, it started out with that little sharp, little shard that you had to do it. But by the time, and by the way, why did I take it to college?
Right, I don't know.
Okay.
I have no
I
idea.
don't remember why. I guess because I'm older, 2 minutes older, and I always will be.
Maybe.
But so I took it to college to Miami, and by the time that I got there, at some point the whole thing had fallen off. So it was just a hole, and what you'd have to do is reach in and kind of mess around with the mechanism and figure out where the like because it's all these like rods.
The
It's like the
interior
system
of
of
the door.
you'd have to put your hand inside the door like this and reach up and mess with the mechanism, and that's how you would unhook it. So that's how it was in college. And then, it was a 2.5 hour drive back and forth from Oxford to Lancaster.
The most boring 2.5 hours in Ohio.
Not when you rode in the Beast. So when
Yeah.
you rode in the Beast, you like you said last time, you could only go about 50, 60 miles an hour. I'm on what is that? What was it, 70?
Yeah.
Yeah, 70. And I'd have to, even if it was the middle of summer, you're going down the highway, you're trying to maintain this somewhat reasonable speed limit, but it would start to overheat. And so what I would do is I would drive with the windows down, the heat fully blasted to try to get the heat out of the,
Yeah.
and I would still have to stop probably every 30 minutes or so to let it cool off, put some water in the radiator, put some fluid or whatever, and keep going. That's literally how we drove it back and forth. But that thing lasted the whole way through college, almost the whole way through college, right up until the end. And it was I don't know if I'm assuming I told you the story, but I was in Lancaster driving somewhere downtown, and I was pulling up to an intersection. There was a red light going downhill, one of the intersections in Lancaster, pressing the brakes, and all of a sudden the brake pedal just goes all the way forward. The brake line snapped, and I'm approaching this intersection, a red light. I swerve out of the way, and thankfully, I grabbed the e-brake and yanked on it, pulled it,
Still
and
worked.
stopped, and it saved some lives potentially, but we didn't have any money. I didn't have money to fix the brakes. So when I took it to the shop, and they were like, everything is shot. Like, you need on all four of them, and to repair it would be, I mean, it was a ridiculous amount. So for the next few months, I don't know, however many months, I continued to operate the vehicle, and instead of using the brakes, I would use the e-brake as my brake. And so until all of a sudden, it was like the very end, it was the very last semester driving around Miami, and I pulled it, and the whole, like, the rotor, everything just collapsed finally. And so that was the end of the beast. We had a big ceremony to send it off, and I actually sold it for parts. Ended up making like $500 or something, again, because like the metal, the different parts in it were just really good. It was just the brakes and the rotors and everything gave out. So that was the end of the obituary for the beast.
After the brake system and some other major components of the 1983 Toyota Corolla, the beast, in Lancaster, you still drove it back to school.
Yeah.
With the e-brake.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that. Yeah, I don't think I knew its fate, its ultimate fate.
For several months after that. I mean, I was still changing the oil, and that's where I learned a lot about, like, I would change the oil on it, change the filters, and all these different things that I was doing, but I couldn't do anything with the brakes and the rotors and all that. And so yeah, for a few more months I rode it with the e-brake. I mean, I remember the dash, when it would freeze, when it was cold like it is now, like the dashboard would freeze. I'd have to figure out how to get it, because I mean, you couldn't do anything with the dashboard. You couldn't even turn it on because it was frozen.
Part of what I remember too with the dashboard too early on, though, it was like the gas gauge didn't work. So we knew how many gallons it took, and we would have to calculate the mileage to see if we were close to empty or not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That was it. And it's hard when it's one thing when you're on the highway, you can kind of estimate a little bit, but just going around campus or whatever, going home every once in a while, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that car, man, I love that car. And then so maybe this is another fun story probably to get into, because you're right, I forgot. It's hard to, I was trying to look at my hand, and I see them now, but my hands are just destroyed because of the cold weather.
And so you don't use lotion.
Yeah. I don't use lotion, but yeah, I've got some scars throughout my hand and on my face and on my other hand. Where are your scars? From the elevator?
No, I don't have elevator scars. I've got from
Okay.
football and from architecture on my hands. Yeah, I was definitely thinking about the elevator with yours.
Yeah. So,
But this
all right.
this is definitely one that our siblings have a different recollection of this as well, or a slightly different version. So
Man.
this will be a good one for the elevator if that's where you're trying to get to.
Yeah. Should we wait till I mean, I don't know how much time we're gonna have when we're there. Should we just go ahead
Let's
and tell
go.
our story?
Let's
All
go.
right. I'll tell my version since I know
You're the
all the
main
facts.
victim.
So,
Yeah,
yeah. All right.
and culprit.
We were 5, 6, 7 years old. I don't know.
Sure.
5, 6, 7 years old. This was in Ecuador, and at the beach, at an apartment complex. Juan and I are trying to go upstairs. I think we were on our own, trying to go upstairs, get in the elevator. I had a bouncy ball or something that that I was dribbling, or a soccer ball, something that I was dribbling. We get in the elevator to go upstairs, and in Ecuador, the elevators aren't like they are here, or at least that one wasn't. I remember it was one of those where like the doors and the walls and the doors and everything were stationary, and you had the cart that kind of goes up like this. So there was a little gap in between the doors and the floor of the elevator going up. And so the way that I remember it was that we were going up, and at some point, some people tried to get on, and you kind of freaked out and started pushing some buttons. And so it forced the elevator to kind of go up and down and kind of do these things while I was trying to dribble and work on my crossover, my Allen Iverson moves. And then all of a sudden, one time went up and down, and I lost control a little bit. The ball got stuck in between the door and the floor, and the doors also had little glass like panels. The ball got stuck right in there, and when it tried to squeeze through, it exploded the glass right as I tried to reach to get the ball. And so the glass exploded, cut up my hand and face and parts of your body, I guess. And so it exploded, got cut everywhere. We finally made it to whatever floor, or maybe we finally found our family, or whoever it was. I don't know who found us, but I think I remember also that I was like scared. We were scared. I had my hand like behind my butt trying to hide it. And I was wearing my little yellow, I think I remember some like yellow Barcelona shorts or something, which not the Barcelona in Spain, but the Ecuador Barcelona, or Guayaquil Barcelona, the yellow shorts or something. And then it was all, covered in blood. And that's pretty much all I remember. I don't remember like the stitches or hospital or anything like that. But how close was I?
I definitely don't remember the aftermath. We seem to be pretty aligned on that memory. I also don't remember but I do remember going up and down. I mean, I don't know if we
Okay.
were just messing around in the elevator, and I
I was
definitely
not
remember
messing
pushing.
around. I was practicing. You were
No, no,
you were
no,
being
no.
a menace.
I don't think we were. I don't think we were like going downstairs to go to the park. I think we were in the elevator, just going up and down, and I was definitely pushing buttons. I remember that. And I think you made a good description of the elevators, but I don't know how clear it is to listeners to make sure they understand. The elevator in the elevator car didn't have its own doors. So basically on each floor there was a door with the big glass, kind of opaque, thick glass panel on every floor. But you saw the wall and the door as you're going up. There's nothing keeping you apart from the floor. So the elevator cab itself was five sides. It was the floor, the ceiling, the walls, and then the back. It was exposed on the front to
Yeah,
each
yeah.
floor, right? And so yeah, the one time then we went back up, and that little bouncy ball, it wasn't a basketball,
Yeah, I don't
but
remember what
but
it
yeah,
looks like.
that kind of plastic just bouncy ball squeezed right in there. It got jammed, and then it was right on the glass. So when the elevator continued to go up, it sounded like a bomb. I mean, boom, the thing exploded right as you were reaching for the ball, and I'm still pushing buttons on the thing. So yeah, your hand was, I mean, it looked like a murder scene, and you did have, it's my recollection as well, that you had the yellow Barcelona shorts with a red hand. I mean, it looked like Wilson from the movie, but on your butt. And I think our families probably saw us and ran to the elevator because they heard this giant explosion and they had to figure it was us. I don't remember myself getting, like, I'm sure I had little cuts and bruises because that was the big glass panel and it was a huge deal. But again, like the elevator didn't stop, and there was nothing protecting us from that. But I'm sure you had stitches, I imagine. I don't remember anything after that.
So something else that I correlate to this, or that I align with this, is I think I remember when we were, when we first moved to the U.S., we were in third grade, and either that year or the next year, and because we started out in public schools, they'd have the like hearing and sight tests and things like that out in the hallway. Do you remember this at all?
Sure.
I kind of remember that first, again, early on, we were already playing baseball and doing all these things. But so it must have been whatever. Anyway, within the first couple of years, we moved to the United States, and we were at this public school, and they did these tests, and they did the eye test on us, and we were like, our eyesight was terrible.
It was bad. Yeah.
They couldn't believe that we didn't have glasses or anything. And when we went to get the test, I remember them talking about us having little, or at least, I mean, I'm assuming we both did, but little like scratches in our eyes, that they were like, we're like, this is like the weirdest thing. You know, your eyes are kind of getting messed up because this one's scratched up and it's trying to compensate and whatever. That wasn't something you had either?
I have no recollection of that. I definitely remember the glasses. It was a life-changing thing. I think Mom, still joked about, where were we, lens crafters at the mall or something, and walking out with the glasses, be like, what is this? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's kind of funny to think about playing baseball without being able to see.
That's why I couldn't hit the curveball, like you said.
That's why you could.
Yeah.
Oh, another funny story I think would be how we started playing football. American football, that is. Do you remember? Again, my story is this.
It's another story, yeah.
In Lancaster, Ohio, somehow we met Seth, Seth was a boy that lived we lived on the street, and then there was a little alley that connected our houses, and he lived over here. We used to ride our bikes around the neighborhood, yeah. And right, I mean, in our neighborhood, there's the Fairfield County Fairgrounds in Lancaster, Ohio. Just awesome area, but this particular area had a lot of green space. We'd ride our bikes all the time. One day we were riding our bikes, and there were a bunch of kids playing football, like practice. There was a football practice going on. And I don't know that we really knew what football was. But what I remember is my mom, I remember her explaining football to me at some point and just saying, you have 4 chances to score, and if you don't get it, then the other team gets the ball and tries to score. And that was my understanding of football for a long time.
I don't know that was Mom, because I'm not sure that she still knows that about football. But go ahead.
I have this weird, vivid memory of her explaining that to me. But anyway, we're riding bikes. We see this team practice. The coach stops the 3 of us. Like, one of the coaches yells at us to stop and asks us if we're interested in playing. I remember Seth saying no, because he already played for a team for St. Mary's or whatever. He was going to the private school. We were at the public school. And him asking us if we wanted to try it out. We didn't know what the heck we were doing, but he gave me the football. I threw it to you. You caught it. And I think we were immediately then just on the team and started playing football from there. Is that does that sound familiar? Is that what you remember?
Again, that's pretty much what I remember. It was, if you tried to write some kind of script for a movie of some superstars and how they got started, that's how it's in my head. We obviously did not become superstars, but that is my recollection. And remember, Grandma Emily, who lived right across the street, her son Sean played for this team and then coached at some point, and then his kids played for that team. So there's some familiarity there, but it was Coach O'Rourke is what I remember. Sean O'Rourke.
Sean O'Rourke. He's the one, I think, that I think he was the one that said, respect all, fear none. And that was
possible.
That's my favorite. I mean, I say that, I use that all the time. I think about it all the time. I tell Patrick all the time. I tell my teams all the time. I think that was him.
But it's in my memory that we were riding bikes, just like you said. They were practicing. We came across them. They said, come out. And I actually thought I remember doing some sprints with them. And, we were both pretty quick. pretty fast. And then for whatever reason, you were the quarterback and I was the receiver. You threw it, I caught it, and that was it. But we couldn't convince mom. It was like a water boy type of thing. We got to go talk to mom. We got to get mama on board. And, you ended up getting hurt, getting pretty serious injuries. But I think I agree. That's what I remember how we got started was just the random Seth and us riding bikes, which, man, we could go into other stories about riding bikes at the fairgrounds with Seth. But that started, we played a couple years of Pee Wee, and then because of the injuries, like we didn't get to play again until like mom wouldn't even let us lift weights until that new Coach Burkhardt at the high school was that sophomore year of high school. She finally let us lift and play football again. Yeah, a little break.
Those were wild times. I remember. Yeah, I remember. I think I got a face mask or something that pinched the nerve in my neck. But I think something happened to you too. Same thing. Maybe a couple weeks later.
I think we both got concussions. We both got concussions. But you got your stuff torn with a terrible face mask. Yeah, that was bad.
But how much did we weigh? How much weight do you think we gained when we started playing football?
I don't know.
And lifting, I guess.
I think I only gained probably 10 or 15 pounds. Because senior year I got big, not muscles, but just being lazy.
I remember during two-a-days, football two-a-days, you'd weigh in the morning, you'd weigh out after the first practice, and then you'd eat, and then you'd weigh in and weigh out.
Yeah.
And I remember our weights fluctuating like plus or minus 10 pounds between practices and meals and everything else. Like it was that was crazy, man. Anyway, I got to thinking about how our two-a-days, but I remember literally, like I remember the chart, you'd have to write in and weigh out, and our weights were just crazy because we were just so little, and we would eat like insane people.
That's it. It was like hard to gain weight, and we ate a lot, including the pancake breakfast for the Knights of Columbus.
The Kiwanis. No, it was Kiwanis, wasn't it?
Was Kiwanis?
I don't know.
Pancake
maybe.
breakfast.
Do you think we still have the record?
I don't know if anybody keeps track, but I think we do. Now, you beat me that day because I was sick that one time. I think you had 21 pancakes or something, and
I say 23.
23.
I remember 23, which I'm sure is still the record for the Kiwanis pancake breakfast.
I had 17 or 18 with a bad cold. Couldn't even breathe.
I don't remember the cold. What I remember is, didn't we have basketball practice after that or something? We went like in the morning and we had basketball practice.
And those pictures. So I went out to look at the yearbook for the biggest bomb picture for the car, and saw some of our bitty basketball pictures. Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, some characters on those teams.
Man.
With our glasses and the not the rec specs, but what were they called? Froggies or Froggers or something like that.
You thought the elastic bands?
Yeah. Just smashing our glasses over and over again. Yeah.
God. When did we get contacts?
I'm trying to think if it was in middle school, because in a couple pictures I'm thinking of, again, in that yearbook, like one of our friend who was voted most likely to be successful, the boy was Ryan. And in our middle school basketball pictures, I was next to him in 7th grade and in 8th grade in the team picture. And we were the same height in 7th grade. And I grew and he did not grow that summer. The next year, I'm probably 6 inches taller than him. But anyway, I think we also have glasses in one and not glasses in the other. I'll have to verify, but it was around there. It was like 5th, 6th, 7th grade that we got. Well, I guess we could look at the school pictures too. Yeah. By the way, our senior year yearbook, if you remember at all, the cover, I didn't remember this until I just saw it, but the cover, there's a black yearbook, and the front and back cover, it's all just quotes. It was quotes from seniors. We had a bunch of quotes.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the front cover of this book, the outside cover is about me busting my knee open. It's right there. I don't know, man. I don't know if it was me or someone else, but it was right in the middle. Juan busted his knee open while streaking, right there for everyone to see. So that was. I mean, after you and I just spoke about it in the last recording, I went up there to get that picture. It was right there in my face. Yeah.
I didn't think you were gonna.
I know.
Oh man, I don't remember I forgot about those quotes until now, and I certainly didn't remember that was front and center.
Me either. That was total surprise, basically.
Oh man, you got to figure out who wrote that. Do you remember yours? I don't remember mine.
I'm trying to remember. And I can't even remember what yours was. I think Nick Wellner had the. Oh no, it was the Steelers. So yours might have been the Notre Dame one that I saw. Win one for the Gipper. Or, I don't know. Maybe not.
We'll have to verify. We'll verify when we're in town.
When you're here, yeah.
I have no idea what the quote was. Who was mostly Ryan Griffin? Is who you're talking about?
Yeah, and Christine, who did go to Notre Dame.
Kennedy, that's right. She did. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We went to Notre Dame once, hung out with her, and
we went at least twice, right?
Yeah, we went more than twice, but
okay.
What was Stephen Housen? Was
that? Yeah.
He showed us around. It was a good time. That was when he took us. Were you there when we got to meet all the players and that football that has all the signatures? Maurice Stovall and I think Brady Quinn was there, but he didn't sign. Oh God, of course I'm gonna forget. I ended up realizing that I worked with a guy, or he's in Chicago, but Travis Thomas. I don't know if that name rings a bell, but he was a stud at Notre Dame. He was on he was on SI cover, him and Tom Zabikowski, like during that time frame. And he wasn't at this party that we were at, so I didn't get a signature, but I loved him. I loved the way he played. A couple of years ago, I was at our work conference, annual conference, and sitting next to a guy, and his name's Travis Thomas, and I was like, huh. He's a big guy, really, he's in good shape. He's a big guy. And I started kind of asking around. They're like, yeah, he doesn't talk about it, but he played in there. I was like, holy crap. That's wild. So anyway, wow. Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He's a really good guy.
What I remember that trip with Housen, I remember it was like 3 rooms with 6 roommates, and they bunked up 3 guys to 2 rooms, and they kept their the third room of just a hangout party space. Do you remember that? So they moved their beds and bunked them in a certain way that 6 guys in 3 rooms split up into 2 rooms and kept a third room with like a dartboard, with a big table, with a big couch. They had a couple TVs in there, I think. And I think we got to sit in the student section for the game and do the push-ups, all kinds of stuff. Like that was a really good experience, if I remember right. Did the Walk of Fame, the Walk of Champions or whatever it is before the game. Yeah, Notre Dame was pretty cool. Pretty cool experience.
Cool. So tune in. We're going to be together in a few days in North Carolina. Hopefully we'll film a little bit, but in the meantime, stay warm, stay safe.
See you, bud.
Later, man.